Sure. So if you are seeking a divorce in New Jersey, the first step that you would take is to file a complaint for divorce. That would go ahead and get filed with the court here in New Jersey, in the county within you reside. After that is filed, the other party would then get served with that complaint for divorce in person, and they would have 35 days within which to respond to that complaint for divorce. If they do not respond within the 35-day time frame, they would then be in default, and we would go ahead and request for the court to enter default against them. Essentially what that means is that we would request for the court to grant whatever you are requesting, since the other person basically didn't show up and they didn't respond. In the event that the other party does respond to the complaint for divorce within the 35-day time frame, then the court would go ahead and start divorce proceedings. The first step in that case would be to have what's called a case management conference. At that conference, the court would set discovery deadlines, which is essentially a fancy word for evidence. Parties would exchange what's called interrogatories and notice to produce, and they could have a real estate appraisal done. There are a number of things that the court would consider at that case management conference to move your case along. After that, the court would also have what's called an early settlement panel, which is where you have very experienced matrimonial attorneys who will give you recommendations on how your matter should be decided, essentially. It's basically their expertise. They practice in those courts. They'll give you what is their advice, what their recommendations are, and you can take that advice or you could leave it. You could continue on with the divorce proceedings, and that would be the next step, which is economic mediation. And in that time, a mediator, who is a neutral party, would try to assist the parties in settling their case. If that still doesn't work to settle your divorce matter, you would also then mandatorily have to attend what's called an intensive settlement conference. That is an all-day conference at the courthouse where the judge is essentially making one last-ditch effort to get you and your spouse to settle your divorce case. If that still does not work, then you have one last step in your divorce process, and that is to proceed with trial. And that will typically take about a year from the filing of your divorce complaint to get to the point of a trial date being set.